Hello, this is Angelo, and this is Finish Stronger Masterclass number 8. Wow, we have actually crossed half of Finish Stronger challenge already, meaning today it is actually day 51 of the 100-day Finish Stronger challenge. Today's subject is unlimited energy, and before we begin, as always, I want to thank you and congratulate you for being here. You cannot imagine, not even 50% of the people who get started actually reach that point simply because they think they want something, but they don't actually prove it with their attitude, with their thoughts and actions. You are here though, and this is amazing. Also, I want to remind you that it is best to switch off your phone, all kinds of notifications and all tabs on your laptop or desktop if you're watching that have nothing to do with what we're discussing here. For the next 30 to 45 minutes, imagine that in this beautiful world, it is only you and me. And of course, you're more than welcome to take notes, but always remember that you have the replay at your disposal if you want to take some notes and if you want, like to go through for a second or even the third time something that was of value to you. And now you are, maybe it's best for you to be fully present here on what we are discussing. Last but not least, I want to remind you that we have crossed the point of no return, and from now on, the only potential outcome that we allow in our consciousness is to land safely, happily at our destination, meaning that by the end of the Finish Stronger Challenge, we will see our super self in the mirror and our super life before our very eyes. The Finish Stronger Challenge journey continues. Last week, we focused on resonance with success, on how important it is to find this distinct frequency that means a lot to you and potentially not much to others. But this is actually your ideal self. This is what matters most to you. Today, we will focus on how we unleash unlimited energy, and also we will capitalize on that energy to create as much momentum as possible. And this is why from now on it will feel that you are on the downturn, and why from now on, if you have done your exercises and have capitalized on this momentum, you are already feeling this build-up in higher, more serving beliefs and habits. Because let me tell you, as with everything else, our Finish Stronger journey needs energy. And so many people feel depleted simply because they think that energy is something scarce or something finite that they can do nothing about it. And this is why it is so valuable, so important for you to invest your attention on what we will be discussing here, and make sure you add up as many of the energy sources that that I am going to reveal pretty soon as possible in your daily schedule. Because there is like a very popular quote, especially in the personal development community, that everything is energy. But I also want to remind you that energy is everything. Without it, you cannot go anywhere. All you need to go from point A to point B, regardless if this is an emotional journey, a thought journey, a physical journey, requires energy. This is how important it is to make sure you have enough energy to get where you want to go. You don't need a lot of energy. You need enough energy. You need to make sure that you have the energy to get from where you are to your ideal destination, bearing in mind that there could be some challenges ahead that you have not planned for. And you might need some more energy to get through these obstacles. And of course, as always, I am asking you every single time, how do you feel? Because the better you feel, the more energy you have. And the more you make this question a habit to yourself and ask yourself every single day, as many times as possible, as frequently as you have to. How do I feel right now? And what can I do about it? What can I do to raise my energy levels? Because always remember that our process goal, meaning how we want to be at any given moment, is to be happy and unstoppable. Because the mental equivalent of the emotional state of happiness is flow. This is where the magic happens. This is where you feel that you are completely aligned with universal forces to achieve what you want. Now, let's flash back to masterclass number 1, where I reveal to you the 4 core emotional states. And we said that your first goal is to make sure you will never, ever again in your life land on what we call victim attitude. It is the state that you feel you're justified for not having what you want. And even though you're right or potentially right, you're doing a disservice to yourself, because from the victim state, you cannot do much. You're powerless. You have given away your power and your energy to your excuses. The next state is the go-getter state, and this is where I believe the personal development of the 80s was. Like what Jim Rohn used to say, like burning the midnight oil and do whatever it takes. And with that attitude, you can do a lot of things. You can have like financial success, but it always comes with a price that sometimes is too big. And this is why we say that this state can get you some results, but this is not sustainable. At some point, you will feel that you have given up your health or your relationships or your kids for a higher level of financial success. This is why you want to be at what we call happy and unstoppable or flow state. And of course, it is the enlightened state that we will not be talking much in these master classes, simply because it is something that I believe truly, authentically, only a handful of people on earth can tap into this 4th higher state of consciousness right now. What matters to you is that as long as you are on a happy and unstoppable state, as long as you are in the flow state, you have nothing to worry about, basically, because you know that your inner power is much greater than what is needed to get you from where you are to where you want to go. So forget about these 2 first states and always put yourself as much as possible by doing the exercises. Make it a habit to land on this emotional state as much as possible. Also, another flashback from masterclass number 1, because it is very essential to remind yourself that there are only 3 forces that govern our lives. Everything that is basically happening in our lives can be summarized into these 3 forces. Number 1 is what I call the will, or your attention span. Where are you focusing right now? And I don't know if you noticed, but it takes a lot of energy to steer your attention back to where you want to go. So you get distracted by all the notifications and all the blinks and bips of your smartphone. And then you get distracted by a couple of thousand, maybe more, posts on Instagram and Facebook and all the other social media every single day. Then you get distracted by a gazillion billboards as you drive from home to work and back. And all these distractions take a certain amount of energy from your inner power to steer yourself back to where you want to go, to what you said is your number 1 priority, your burning desire, the destination that you truly want to reach, and the goal that you truly want to achieve by the end of this year. And this is why you're investing your attention to what we are talking about right now. Number 2, all the forces that drive us forward, like enthusiasm and higher levels of belief and self-confidence, and all the personal development learnings that you have at your disposal. All these are forces that drive you forward. And of course, last but not least, are the forces that drag us backwards or keep us where we are, basically. And how mostly people live, they don't have their hands on the wheel. They have little, if at all, forces pulling them forward, and mostly they have forces dragging them backwards. And this is why you will find out that most people feel depleted and they feel powerless to make any change in their lives, any serving change, any progress in their lives. How does your super self live, though? Your super self has always their hands on the wheel, meaning your attention is 100%, potentially 100% where you want to go. This is how effective you can become with your time and your attention. Always remember, you don't manage time, you manage your attention. You steer your attention back as soon and as fast and as effortlessly as possible to your ideal destination. You have minimized the forces that drag you backwards, and you have exploded the forces that pull you forward. This is why you feel that you are in the flow state. This is how your super self lives. So any journey, especially when you want to finish stronger, especially when you want to go the extra mile at one or more subjects of your life, you need a lot of energy. And there are mental sources of energy and physical sources of energy. There are ways to use your mind to unleash more energy, to have a higher energy potential at your disposal, and then there are physical. Let's see some of each. Number one, your why, or the happy landing group of exercises that we saw in the previous masterclass. If you didn't watch masterclass number 7, go back and watch the replay. It is vital because it is the most potent, the most powerful exercise that you can do on any single day to unleash more inner power and to have more your attention more focused and more magnetized at your destination. Your why is also a demonstration that you have chosen your goal wisely. If it's not a burning desire, if it's not a strong why, you will feel it. It will be powerless, basically, to pull you forward. And you want to do something about it even now. Many people would choose lukewarm goals, basically, simply because they think they don't deserve or they cannot achieve more. But most people, what they find out is that these lukewarm goals don't mean much to them so that they can grow as much as they have to achieve what they want. Next, forgiveness. Of course, forgiveness is literally, in an emotional way, forgiveness is like releasing the handbrake. So imagine yourself having a brand new car and you know that it has like a really good brake horsepower and you're on the interstate and you want to accelerate, but you feel that something is wrong. And you say, what is dragging me backwards? What is keeping me away from my new car's unlimited, amazing potential, right? And it is the handbrake. This is the reason. And you release the handbrake and immediately you find yourself accelerating. This is how powerful forgiveness is. And always remember that you don't forgive someone or something because they necessarily deserve it, but you forgive them so that you relieve yourself from that bitterness. Next, gratitude. And as I always like to say, if you cannot find 20 reasons to feel grateful right now, find 30. This is how important gratitude is. And also, this is how magnetizing and addictive the energy and the frequency of gratitude is. because the more grateful you feel, the more things to feel grateful for you will attract in your life. Next, love. And you always start with self-love, maybe the most difficult form of love expression of all. And of course, especially for men, this is a harder exercise because we men, we don't like to express our emotions that much, right? So what you want to do is to be both vulnerable and open enough to say to yourself, I love you, and mean it. And the best way to do it, from what I found on this 15-year-long personal development journey that I am at, is to give yourself like a really strong, big hug. Look yourself in the mirror where the eyes are the windows of the soul, and you look yourself in the mirror and say to yourself and mean it, I love you. Or you can just give yourself a hug and feel it. All you have to do is feel the emotion. Words are powerless if they are not coupled with the emotional state. And once you do this, you find yourself that the emotional state of happy and unstoppable that we talked about before is much, much more accessible. Next is meditation. Meditation, of course, also uses the body because you want to immobilize the body to have a strong, effective meditation. But what matters is that with meditation, you slow your thought. Let's say you feel like you're switching off your brain waves for just a few minutes time, simply because you want to release this amazing activity of the mind, and you want to let go of this activity so that you have an immediate bump of energy. Of course, there are many forms of meditation. You will choose the one that fits best to you, but what matters is, even if you don't do it right, like an amateur, you cannot get it much wrong with meditation, basically. If you stand still and you quiet your thought, and you slow down your thought, you're immediately appreciating the benefits of meditation. Next is any personal development content. Simply because in every single sentence that you read, and simply because with every single punchline that you listen or watch in a video, you immediately get more powerful. And this is why so many personal development contents out there are becoming viral. Of course, you will again choose the one that fits best to you and the one that resonates with you the most. By the way, when I got started with my daily source of inspiration back in January 1st, 2015, or before that, when I was designing the daily source of inspiration, all I wanted to do is for people to feel better when they ended up reading the email from the time they opened it. That's it. I didn't want to teach anything to anyone. I just wanted you to feel a little better. Basically, think of these daily sources of inspiration that most certainly you are reading, especially during the Finish Stronger Challenge. You will find yourself as if you are getting like a small charge, a small emotional charge to upgrade your activity during the day. Next, you have your micro wins. Of course, you get energy every time you bring to your mind, or every time you share your micro wins with the Finish Stronger group, for example. Immediately, you get what? More energy. Why? Because you have, again, this dopamine rush, simply because your mind, your subconscious mind, cannot distinguish from what happened and what was imagined. So when you relieve a micro win or a bigger win, what happens is you get exactly the same feeling, and you multiply. By multiplying this feeling, you make it more and more accessible. Next, you have your micro failures and your micro losses that you turned into one or more micro lessons. Every time you bring these micro lessons to your mind, what happens again? You get more energy, you feel more self-confident because you know not only things that work, even you know some things that don't work. So you feel more confident about your next steps. This is how important this unleashing of energy is. Let's see some physical sources of energy. You have sleep, of course. Let's begin with sleep. The thing that so many people take for granted, and of course, many times, most people make the mistake of taking sleep into account quantitatively only, meaning they care about how much they sleep, not the quality of their sleep. But I want you to focus and upgrade both if possible. And the thing that will give you the best results, of course, is a qualitative upgrade of your sleep. Making sure you have good quality sleep, because when you do that, you will find that you will not need so much sleep, because so many people are complaining about not having enough time and they have to sleep less and so on. Okay, good enough. Upgrade your sleep then. Upgrade the quality of your sleep. Next, breaths. Not every breath is equal to the other. Right now, I am mostly breathing, like shallow breathing. And of course, the fact that I am sitting right now is not helping. And I want to remind you that there are more powerful breaths available that will help you unleash more and more energy. Of course, there is what I'm doing almost every single morning, like the Wim Hof method that I'm practicing and coupling it with some powerful affirmations of my own. And this is a powerful way for you to get started during the day. And of course, I have also at my disposal the power walk. So after I do the Wim Hof method and I read my daily sort of inspiration, I go out for a walk or a run. And the first 5 minutes are what I call the power walk. This is something I learned from Tony Robbins. And this power walk is basically you inhale 4 times and exhale 4 times, and you use your steps, the rhythm of your steps, to give you the rhythm of your breathing. So this is a very powerful way to energize your body. Another powerful breath is the 1-4-2 method, that if you do like 10 breaths of this attitude, you immediately detoxify yourself. Like, this is a really fast, really powerful, really intense detoxification. So, for example, what does 1-4-2 mean? It means that if your inhaling is 4 seconds, then you hold your breath for 16 and you exhale slowly for 8 seconds. Then you have the square breathing, where inhaling, keeping, exhaling, and keeping are 4 equal lengths. Play with these breathing techniques, and of course you can do some research on your own. What matters, though, is that there are ways to capitalize on your breathing to upgrade your energy levels. Next, water. Not everyone drinks as much water as they should. When I did the math, I realized that for the biggest part of my life, I was basically depriving myself of this powerful source of energy. And sometimes we feel so tired and we drink a glass of water, and again, immediately we find ourselves powerful as hell. And let me remind you, when we talk about water, I know that sodas have some water, but I'm talking about actual H2O water, the one that you will find on the tap or the one that you will find on some good quality brand's bottled water. This is what we are talking about, not water that you find in other forms. And you want to drink, I don't remember the imperial system. I only remember the metric system that goes about 1 liter of water for every 25 kilos in body weight, or about 50 pounds of body weight. So I don't remember what the actual number in ounces is, but you can look it up. This is like a good rule of thumb for the water that you drink during the day. And of course, you want to spread it out a bit during your day. Next is food. And again, I know that some food could be like perceived as fun, but also you want to make sure that you give your body the nutrients it needs so that it can function properly and take you from where you are to where you want to go. This is a huge subject on its own. We could have had like a Finish Stronger challenge only for nutrition, especially nowadays where most foods have the most ingredients from most foods are words that you don't know. And this does not make any sense. You want to have like real foods that actually do good to your body and to your brain, which is so vital for you to function properly and make sure you take yourself from where you are to where you want to go by the end of this year. Next, exercise. And of course, when you exercise, you also get depleted, but at the same time, you upgrade your body and you upgrade your mind. And yes, on a short-term basis, you're lacking energy, but on a long-term basis, you have much more potential. It is a much fitter, much stronger body that can do so much more during the day. So instead of finding yourself by noon to be already depleted of energy, when you exercise, you find yourself that you can withstand so much more. Next, nature and grounding. And of course, there are two things that I want to talk about here. Number one is the visual thing. When you simply by noticing nature or simply by hearing the waves break at the beach, immediately you have like an upgrade of energy. But also when you ground yourself, meaning when you're touching the ground, you immediately relieve yourself from all the stress. You are grounded. It is very important for you to be like frequently grounded. And some people might say, okay, good to know, but you know what? I am in the middle of, like Manhattan or Dubai or Singapore. And how on earth am I going to ground myself? Okay, you can simply touch the radiator or the tap and you will immediately ground yourself because guess what? This goes to the ground. It's a metal thing that goes to the ground. This is all you need basically. Next, for the more daring ones, cold showers and of course cold plunges, they have become so popular simply because with social media, it is much easier for us to resonate with people that celebrities and peak performance athletes are doing. And you don't have to do like the cold plunges, the ice bucket challenges and all these things. All you need is a cold shower to feel an immediate upliftment. Immediate upliftment. And if this becomes a habit, you will find that it is very addictive simply because you are addicted to this empowerment that you feel once you're done with the cold shower. Next, micro vacations. And I remember when I was growing up and in the first couple of years of my career, I remember that people would still wait for August to go away for 2 to 4 weeks. I don't know if this was like customary in your country, but in Greece, it was like given. People that would go on vacation for less than 2 weeks, it was like an emergency situation that must be happening in their office or something. So no one would consider vacation or going away for a decent amount of time if it was less than 2 weeks. So when we're talking about micro vacations, even a weekend is fitting to this subject. Even a good evening could be fitting to this Because you know what? All you need is some time to relieve yourself from what is going on in your mind regarding your project and give permission to yourself, your body, your mind to take a short pit stop. The same thing that F1 champions are doing to be able to go as fast as possible. You need these few seconds of taking the pressure off and taking the intensity that you could be operating right now to achieve your goals off. This is all it takes. Some time off. This is so powerful. And also, as I like to see it, you remind yourself that it is not just the doing that matters, but the experiencing also. Because many people find themselves hooked with their success and hooked with their activity and hooked with the growth of their business, only to find themselves, like a few decades later, feeling totally regretful for not experiencing life, experiencing this beautiful planet, experiencing amazing company and amazing events with people they love and care about. So, what happened? You have just proven to yourself in like less than 30 minutes, you have proven to yourself that you have so many energy sources at your disposal. Like fossil fuels is one energy source, electricity is another. You have 16 energy sources at your disposal, and you have proven to yourself that you have right now at your disposal way more energy than you need. You have actually 16 energy sources at your disposal, or what we call 16 ways to upgrade your emotional state and feel better. And when you feel better, what? You do better. And when you do better, what happens? You perform better. You achieve more, right? But only if you flip the switch. Only if you actually tap into these energy sources, knowing that sleep is an energy source, knowing that water is an energy source, knowing that meditation is an energy source will do nothing to your life. Once you apply these energy sources in your life, then you will have way more energy and you will feel this abundance of energy, and you will reach the point where your energy will be greater than the energy amount that you need to get from where you are to your number one priority. This is how important it is for you to capitalize on these 16 energy sources. So, your homework, number one, invest more energy on focusing at your destination. So you're mentally and emotionally at your destination, and this, like a magnet pulls you that way. Why am I saying invest more energy? Because in terms of body mass, your brain is about 5% of the weight of your body. But in terms of energy consumption, the brain is 25%. So I know that it takes a lot of energy to focus, especially when things do not go as planned, and especially when you're still allowing many distractions in your life or many reasons, as I like to say, for not achieving your dreams, not turning them into a reality. Number two, make a habit to use the most effective energy source. So now that you have these 16 energy sources, make a habit to use the most accessible one right now, the most effective one right now, to upgrade your energy, to feel that you truly have more energy at your disposal. And last but not least, we are still at 50%. We have a long way to go. So upgrade your engagement at our Facebook group and make sure you share more micro wins. you ask as many questions as you have so that you leave nothing behind. No reason to stay behind your schedule or your plan to achieve what you want. And last but not least, if there is someone that you know that could benefit from Finish Stronger Challenge, invite them even now, because our momentum will help them catch up and make sure that even if they don't achieve everything that they desire, they would still have more clarity and more self-confidence by the end of the year. And always remember that this accounts for all of us, right? There are many times that I have failed to achieve my end of year goals, but I have never ever failed to end a year stronger and wiser. And this is a legacy that I carry on for the rest of my life. This is always goal number one with Finish Stronger Challenge. And this is why you want to stay as engaged as possible until the end of it. Thank you very much for your attention and your participation. Until next week, we will be hanging out on the Facebook group. And I want you to always remember that you deserve everything you want, and we all deserve your best self. See you next week. Ciao, ciao.